Hello humanitarians, this is Ms. DeLu. This lesson will be on how to write persuasively, and you will be completing these guided notes for Unit 3, Human Rights. The statement of inquiry is, the purpose of striving for fairness in society is to bring about a positive change in humanity. So I want you to highlight one word in the statement of inquiry that seems most important. Summative assessment. Below the GRASP, which stands for Goal, Role, Audience, Situation, and Product, it outlines your summative assessment. Coming down to the speaker notes, it says your role is that you are a human rights activist. In your own words, what is the main human right that your assigned organization is striving to improve? So you're going to answer down here, because you need to have a good feel for what human rights that your organization is advocating for. Approaches to learning, or ATL skills. What skills will you need in order to effectively persuade the UN to fund your organization? There are 4 skills listed here. ATL skill number 1 was access information to be informed and inform. Those were that was the skill that we worked on for slides 1 through 6. ATL skill number 2 is gather and organize information to formulate an argument. We worked on that skill on slides 7 and 8. Skill number 3 is write persuasively. Please highlight this skill because this is the focus of this assignment. And when you're done learning that skill, our last skill will be organize and depict information logically. These are the steps for ATL skill number 3, write persuasively. Reread the list of persuasive language techniques from the introduction, write persuasively lesson. 2, decide where and how you can add a variety of these techniques to slides 7 and 8. 3, add persuasive language to slides 7 and 8. And 4, consider adding persuasive language to other slides if appropriate. Looking down below in the speaker notes, it says highlight the correct answer to the question. Where can you find the list of persuasive language techniques? A, the intro to formulating an argument, or B, intro to write persuasively. Bend the arc. Remember that for this lesson, you will be using the organization Bend the Arc as an example. Come down below, highlight the correct answer to the question. For this lesson, which organization will be using for your responses? A, your assigned organization, or B, Bend the Arc. Here's a list again. This is the list of persuasive language techniques that you would find in that introduction unit. Now this part's a little bit tricky, so please follow along. When you get your 2 slides for your mastery check, you're going to need to make a copy of your completed slide 7 in order to add the persuasive language to it. So watch as I go back and make a copy and then put it into this assignment. My copy, as far as where I get it, will look a little different than yours. You will go back to your mastery check for slides 7 to 8. You'll find your slide 7 over in this side. I want you to click on it, and then you're going to copy it. So I copied it. I believe you do Control-C. Now I'm going to come back where I have this blank slide, and I'm going to paste it in. And you'll see that it pastes below. I'll go back up to the blank one, and I'm going to delete that. So now I have my slide 7 that I had already written on right here, and I'll start working on this to add persuasive language. What I want you to do now is copy what I write. You're going to watch the process of how I add persuasive language, and you will write the same thing that I write. Remember that I'm going to come back to this information repeatedly in order to get my persuasive language to put on my slide 7. I have 2 sentences. I'll start with this sentence. We fight anti-Semitism. And I want to have it start a little bit more persuasively. So I'll come back over here. I'm going to look at which one I think is appropriate. And I think I'm going to go ahead and write the word clearly. And just so you can see it really clearly, I'm going to put it in red. I'd like you to put it in red too. Clearly, and I'm going to have a comma, and then I need to make this a lowercase w. So I've added one persuasive technique. And now I want to see where else in this sentence can I add another one. So we fight anti-Semitism. Well, I want to emphasize anti-Semitism, so I'll come back here and I'll look around at different, what can I put? I like this word down here, shameful, so I'm going to come back and I'm going to modify, which means describe. And as I do this, I also want you to do the same thing. I'm going to say fight the shameful offenses of anti-Semitism. Now remember, sometimes you need to add a word or change it. It might be shamefully if you're not describing a noun. So you can't just copy and paste. You have to make it fit the context. Clearly, we fight the shameful offenses of anti-Semitism. This sentence sounds more persuasive, and you should have written that on your slide also. Now I'm going to come to this sentence down here and see how can I add more persuasive language. Our education, training, and coalition. I think I can add a emotion word here. So I come back over here, I see which one is appropriate. Just starting at the top, if I just put appealing, it doesn't really fit as well. So try to read through all of them and find one that is appropriate for that context. And I really like the word exceptional. So I'm going to write the word exceptional. Our exceptional education, training, and coalition organizing is working to prevent another, and I'm going to say, I'm going to add a negative word. I'm going to say tragic tree of life incident. I'm wondering what else I can add, so I'm going to come back. I've already done this one. Maybe I'll add a rhetorical question. So I'm going to add this rhetorical question, who doesn't want to stop violence against humanity? Now I feel like I've done a very persuasive job here. When you get to your mastery check, you will see that this will be a blank slide for slide 8. So that means you need to go back to your slide 8 and make a copy of it. Here's my slide 8 for bend the arc, so I'm going to make a copy. Control C, and then I will come back over to this next one. I will say Control V, and I'll get rid of the blank one. Now I've got my completed slide 8. For this slide, look down here in the speaker notes, and it says, add at least 2 persuasive language techniques to this slide. And you will need to go back and look at slide 7 in order to complete that. So you're going to practice by adding at least 2 persuasive language techniques to this sentence. All right, so your next steps are to turn in this assignment, wait for your teacher to assign you the mastery check, write persuasively. Remember that if you don't get it assigned, look for teacher comments to remind your teacher to assign it. 3, begin the persuasive mastery check using your assigned organization. And this part is highlighted because I want you to remember you need to copy and paste your work from slides 7 and 8 of the argument mastery check into this next mastery check. Okay, so I hope you all feel confident to write persuasively on your mastery check.